Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Ladies, understand something. The top end of a woman's weight is 145 pounds. Okay. My mother's 5'9", and she was 145 pounds until she was 50. That's the top end of your weight, because there should be about a 40-pound difference between you and men.
Basically, if the guy is rich, what ends up happening is the lawyer contacts the person and be like, hey, you know, your name gonna be all in the paper, so you might as well just settle out of court.
I can recognize talent. Even if I don't agree with the politics, a lot of the politics that was underlying in the show and some of the sentiments he was trying to share, I recognize artistry when an artist is present.
Yes, this is the definition of absolutely cooked. We'll never go back and take a look at her bad decision and take accountability for any of that.
Because there is powerful people in the industry, somehow there is a different law that applies to them. And I agree with that assessment.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close my ancestors speak, they tell me they're tired of them praying on us like we're weak. I haven't been getting sleep, longing to sing until I surpass peak, until they think we are equal. Please, all I want is peace. My ancestors beat drums until their palms would bleed, begging that generations remember our story.
What's going on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, IG, Twitch, wherever you are right now? Blessings to you all. Appreciate you for being in the building this morning. It's good to be back. It's good to be above ground. It's good to be able to just converse and talk and share our thoughts. I've been at the laptop since I got up this morning, fresh off of a long week. Jenny, I see you. Appreciate you for stopping in. We got a lot to talk about here. Like I said, it's going to be a lot this weekend. Actually, it's going to be a long 7 days. But before I go there, I want to give a shout out to my writers, my poets, my content creators. I always give my flowers out to all of you. I want you to know I appreciate you. I'm always going to be a poet at heart first before anything else. This is just a plus, something that I enjoy doing thoroughly, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully I can bring the open mic back next week. Lord willing, we'll see what happens. I don't know if any of you were here last weekend when we covered this. I'm going to do a recap, and then I'm going to fast forward to where we are now. Let me bring this up on the screen real quick, though. How was your week? How's everything going on your side of the internet? How's the family? Friends? Are you in good health? Are you mentally checked in? Are you all over the place? What's really good with you guys, man? I don't want to ever make this seem like I don't have concern or care for the people. I don't do this just for the discussion aspect of it. You know, we are like family in some sense, you know what I'm saying? And so I just like to know if everybody's is cool. But hold on, let me see something. All right, there it is. I try to bring this up early, and the reason I put that at the bottom of the screen is because I know there are a lot of people who are watching from different parts of the world, And you might not be on Facebook, you might not be on YouTube, you might be on Twitch, you might be on Twitter. So it's like, all right, well, let me go ahead and put this down here at the bottom just in case you have an issue with getting over here. I want to make sure that you can get there. I'm gonna bring my partner up here in a second. I'm gonna punish him for a second, though, because that's a whole nother story. Just in case you don't have the contact information, like if you have a topic, if you have anything that you want to see discussed up here for any reason, whether or not it's about relationships or politics or anything in general, if I don't know nothing about it, somebody else on the panel is going to know something about it. So this also is to help connect and build bridges. Like, I really believe in building genuine connections, not none of this superficial bullshit where people just follow you just to follow you because of the numbers and because it looks good on their accounts. I'm not on that. I don't move like that. I don't believe in that. That's the most hurtful way to create a brand or do business with anybody. The numbers are cool, but if you're not really connecting with the people, then none of that shit makes any difference anyway. So it's like, what's the point? That being said, this is what I'm gonna do, because like I said, I want to do a recap. I want to do a recap, and I want to go further on with what's happening now, because talking about this shit like that, and I find it highly disrespectful. Highly disrespectful. How is it that there's only but a handful, if that, of platforms covering this story, as if we don't have a problem here? Now I'm gonna do it like this. Two twins, they were supposed to go on a trip, and unfortunately they never made the trip. They missed their plane, and the original story was it was a drowning accident. That's what it was said at first. One brother was drowning, the other one tried to save the other one, and in the process, both of them ended up losing their life. And then it was also added that the person that discovered the bodies was a hiker. That's what was told to the people. They didn't have any footage. They didn't have anything tying anyone to nothing. There was it was just like the shit just came out of thin air. There was no video footage. There was no phone records, text messages. There was absolutely nothing that would give you any type of indication that what they said was inaccurate. So already, it was already a red flag. Everybody that I watched speak on it, which was only two people. There's only been two people that I've seen speak on it. And this one brother, he's doing what I would have done. And he's saying exactly what I would have said. It's like, all right, how the fuck do these kids end up somewhere that they don't belong? They live in Georgia, but they end up in fucking what the fuck, Bell Mountain. And the shit is weird to me. So the original stream that we did, it was pretty much saying, look, man, something doesn't really seem right about this. And based on what we know, the area that this was located in is a sundown town. For those of you who don't know what that is, it is a racist part of Georgia. They don't want to say it. They don't want to bring it up or make it look like it had anything to do with black and white. But the reality of it is, where they found these kids at was in a racist part of Georgia. And in my honest opinion, they were trying to cover it up and give us a bullshit story. I'm not having it. I'm not accepting it. I'm not buying it. We spoke on this for about an hour plus. Very sad. My heart and like my condolences go out to the. But I want to give you an update on what's happening. More news came out this week. And to be honest with you, what they gave us wasn't really too much shit, for real, for real. To me, it was just, all right, we just gonna tell them we got this, and that's it, and go about our business. Maybe they'll shut up and they'll stop asking questions. The parents are not letting this shit go. They're not having it. And if I'm the parents, I'm not letting this shit go either. 2 17-year-olds were supposed to get on an airplane. They were supposed to go hang out with their friends. And given the timestamps, things aren't adding up. Their vehicle ends up on a property that it shouldn't have been on between the time that they showed up in this video of them at a gas station. They don't show us the video footage of them at the gas station. They don't show us them going in and out, but the mother or the aunt, they're telling you, look, all right, all we saw was such and such going in and coming out. They were kind of just there being normal. They were dressed normal. Nothing really seemed to be off. Everything seemed to be normal right there. This was, I believe, around 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something like that, I believe. And then after the gas station, there's this time gap. Now, the gates at Bell Mountain, they don't open until 8 a.m. So they find the vehicle of the two twins inside the property. How did the vehicle get inside the property if it was already closed and they don't open until 8? So what happened to these kids between the time they left the gas station up until the part where they were found up in Bell Mountain after 8? How'd they get in? Who let them in? Who has the keys? This is what they're giving us. The time, the the gas station and the fact that the car was discovered there. So what are you trying to tell me? Y'all don't have nothing else. You know why this bothers me so much, right? Think about the Carmelo Anthony case. Let's talk about how everybody is trying to make a big deal out of this young man losing his life because he's white. Yet and still, they're not really giving you the respect for this. On top of that, I had a couple of theories with this. How coincidental is it that this young man who got stabbed and lost his life was a twin? And then on top of that, and Jenny, I'm kind of leaning towards this has something to do with some type of like tit for tat sacrifice, because the guy that had a twin that lost his life, how is it that you got two twin black boys around the same age ending up getting both unalived simultaneously, trying to paint this narrative as if it was a murder suicide? What they're trying to tell you is the brother killed the other brother and then turned the gun on himself. Yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying not a single word of it. I'm gonna let you talk, bro. I'm about to walk away from this microphone real quick because I gotta take care of something. I'm gonna let you take over for a second though. Hold up.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I'll be right back.
All right. So we talking about the twins, right? They got slain on that mountain. For one, it's the same thing like last week. You know, I don't think it's enough information put out there for to give details on how they died on that mountain. It just don't make sense. You know, the kids had a plane trip that they missed, and if you see the background of these two twins, it just doesn't add up that could happen to them. They missed their flight. They said the flight tickets was still in their pocket when they were killed. And nobody knows. Nobody actually knows what really happened to them. The mom, because moms got this instinct of something happening to their children. You know what I mean? It's something that moms are good at. She want answers. She raised the two twins. They graduated nicely in high school. I believe they were 19. I believe that's what their ages were. But to me, bro, it's not adding up. It's like going back to last week. And while we on the record here, let me say this: these are two separate twin situations. And are we going to revisit what we talked about? Yes, we are, because we talking about twins, right? So going back to Mr. Austin Metcalf again. Austin Metcalf was also a twin, and it just seems to me is after that situation happened with Carmelo and Mr. Metcalf, once again, this is the second case of two twins unaliving themselves, and they just happen to be black. I'm just gonna put it on the table. Now, why would two twins be shot on a mountain? And that's not even with the destination that they were planning to go. They wasn't even planning to go there. I think they stopped at a gas station or something like that to try to get to their trip because they missed their flight and all of that. I mean, if you see these kids look very responsible. Let me say that. These two twins look very responsible, just like last week with the Mississippi River. One twin ain't gonna let the other twin rock off like that. It's not gonna happen. He was there with his brother. They got each other back. They was making a trip together, and now both of them suffered from 2 gunshot wounds that unalived them. Like, let's make it make sense. Until we get more details, because that's what we're doing this for. We don't have the proper details, enough evidence and enough details to say what happened. That's why we're doing this. We're going to revisit Carmelo and the Austin Metcalf. We're going to say those again. That case can be triggered nationally because Austin Metcalf was a twin. He was also a twin. And is it just by a coincidence that because he was a twin, that you have 2 cases that follow that case? They were twins too, and they all lost their lives, and no evidence. I'm just saying it's fishy, and it put a lot of eyes on it. You know what I mean? A lot of eyes on it. Yeah, we don't know all the details, and that's the problem. Why don't we know all the details? That's why we're doing this. Why we don't get the same amount of coverage as it happened with Carmelo and Metcalf under that tent? We don't get the same. It's not equal justice. It's not equal interest. It's not. Two sets, not one, 2 sets of twins lost their life in a span of a month, and nobody knows nothing. Two of them drowned in the river, and then 2 of them got shot on the mountain. Make it make sense. You got it.
That's what I was just touching on a few minutes ago. So I have 2 concerns and two things. Well, actually, there's a multiple number of things I have an issue with. One, they lied and said that these teens made it to the airport, but we don't have no witness statements. There hasn't been one person to corroborate that story at all. So that's one lie. If they made it to the airport, where's the footage? You know how long this case has been going on? It's been a month at least. So you telling me for a whole month you have no footage? I'm not dumb. There are cameras damn near on everything and everyone. And I worked at an airport. They have cameras everywhere at the airport. Everywhere. There's not one place you're going at an airport and they don't have cameras. So you don't have no footage of them at an airport. Next, let's address the lack of paper trail. these devices, from your phone to your laptop to your iPad, everything is being tracked. Everything, even the cameras that you got on your devices, they can watch you from everywhere. You ever type in you want to buy something that you like, or you ever type in something that you're interested in, like basketball, shopping for something specific, and then 2 minutes later you get ads for the same shit that you were just typing in and watching? They document, and they have a system that is designed to cater to your personality based on what you put your investment in on the internet, from caches, all of it. So to even suggest that once they leave this gas station, they just disappear off the face of the planet. Rewind for a second. Think about the timestamp. It was around 8-9 p.m. when they were at the gas station. Their car was discovered on Bell Mountain behind the gate before it was officially supposed to be open. I didn't know they had any connections with Bell Mountain. I didn't know they worked there. I didn't know they had any type of history there. How did they get there? How did the car get there? A firefighter, we found out, is actually the one who discovered him. And guess what color he was? But they said it was a hiker that just randomly discovered him. But to come to find out, it was actually a former firefighter. So we have no phone records. You can't prove to me that they were at the airport. And you don't have no explanation for where they were between the hours of 8-9 p.m. to 10 a.m. Yeah. Now, I've read some comments. I read a lot of comments on the video where the original poster had uploaded, and you got people saying, oh, y'all just want to be sleuths. Y'all just want to be Perry Mason. Y'all want to act like y'all have all the facts and all the information. You don't know nothing. You don't know shit. But you have other people that's like me, man. This is not no murder suicide. Nobody is really buying it, but you have a mixed reaction to that shit. So it's like, all right, do we really have to be forensic scientists to put 2 and 2 together? Like, if this wasn't one of the most obvious cover-ups that I've ever been a part of, I don't know what else is. I yield the mic.
Yeah, I wanna rewind a little bit about what you said about the gas station. First, I want to ask you what location was that gas station at that they got the gas from?
It was 9. I don't know, remember the name of it. It was 9 minutes away from their house, though.
Their house. And they wasn't seen since, because you said they did miss the flight. They had the flight,
right.
They had the flight in their pocket when they discovered the bodies, from what they said. And you said it was, the name of it was called Belmont Mountain.
Bell Mountain.
Bell Mountain. Okay, so we got to get the name of that town, because reason being, you said that they got gas at around 8 8 p.m., 9 o'clock at night. And we're gonna put this on the table because we at that point now. We're gonna go ahead and set this on the table too. It is certain towns, like we talked about last week, Mississippi, and those two twin boys supposedly drowning in that water. It's certain towns that you gotta watch out for. You gotta get up out of there. And when you said the time that they got that gas at 8 to 9, it got my antennas up over here. So that's at night. And what I'm thinking is that town couldn't have been that big. And some of these towns that from what they said is called a sundown town. Do anybody know what a sundown town means? It's a sundown town, and when you get to a sundown town, you got to get the hell up out of there. You know, at a certain time. Now you said 8 p.m. to 9. So that's why we're not getting the same coverage. We're not getting the same views. We're not getting the same attention on those twins. If we can get their names, by the way, like the Mississippi twins, you know, that you covered last week, related to the twin that got stabbed in Frisco, Metcalf. It's not the same. It's not. It's not the same coverage. It's not the same press, and it's not the same details. So, what do we supposed to do about that? They're those other two sets of twins. They unalive too. Especially when we talking about today, they said they suffered from gunshot wounds, and their bodies was found on the mountain by a hiker. So I'm saying I don't think the twins would shoot themselves. So something, you know, that right there don't even sound right. I believe they was at a sundown town, and when you in one of them towns, most of the people in those towns, they all kind of they all talk and they all gossip and stuff like that. So when they get a certain time, because you said 8 or 9 o'clock at that gas station, they supposed to have been away from there. And what I'm saying is they were targeted, no doubt about it. It seemed like they were targeted because they're not in their minds. They're thinking about their trip. They trying to get to where the hell they're going. They're not thinking about what we're saying right now. They trying to get and enjoy their trip. They trying to stick together and get along. But they wasn't. I don't think they were aware of their surroundings. 1, 2. I believe everybody that around them where they were at, they were aware of them. They was aware of those two twins, and I believe they was followed. Yeah, I believe that they were followed and targeted in the town that's called a sundown town, and they, you know, you guys should know the rest. They were targeted pretty much, and you got to be careful of these towns. I believe Mississippi one of them too. But when you get to one of those towns, you cannot stay when it get, you know, when the sun go down. I'm gonna say that once the sun go down, you got to get up out of there. I'm gonna yield.
The specific gas station where the twins Kadir and Nazir Lewis were seen alive before their deaths was a Shell gas station in Gwinnett County, Georgia. The footage released by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation showed them at the gas station in Lawrence, Georgia, just hours before their bodies were discovered on Bell Mountain in Hiawassee. again, none of it is a coincidence. Not a single accident. And this was my theory, and I could be wrong, you know, but my theory was whoever was involved with this, which I tend to agree, the town knows, the police department knows. What I believe happened here is they took this like it was a fucking movie. They took some shit that was scripted. They tried to do the typical playbook that you would see in a Born Supremacy, and they applied it to a real life situation. They thought they would just get away with it, make it seem like, oh, it was a black on black crime. The brother was jealous of the other brother, or they had some type of hostility. We're going to blame this on black. Set it up to where it looks like it was a suicide. And nobody would know the difference. That's what it comes off like to me. You know why I say that? Because there's no evidence of them being anywhere other than the gas station. And on top of that, they're on a property that they have no knowledge of. How did it get there? That's what I want to know. How did all of this time pass from the gas station to them being discovered here? How the math is not adding up. Side note, New Orleans is one of those places to be careful. To be honest with you, there's not a lot of places where you should be going after dark. And like, it shouldn't be that way, but it is. To go back to something that you said, bro,
It's the intent.
Georgia is
The
a very,
intent.
very racist state. And that brother was really speaking some facts. He said that from maybe 1913 to about 1970 or something around that number, there used to be a lot more black people there, but they ran them all out. So they still have that mindset to this day, and I believe it. If we were really, all right, put it this way. Let's do this. We all know there are certain locations where people kind of have their demographics. You got one area where it's all Mexicans. You got one area where it's all Indians. You got one area where it's all white people. You got one area where it's kind of blended. Georgia in particular, and I know because my family was born and raised there, they had their share of the racism. Let's say you are living in a predominantly white area. What are the odds of you not being harassed? What are the odds of you not going through any type of struggle or strife dealing with these type of people? And I'm not saying everybody is on that spectrum, but if we're being honest, based on what I saw and what I heard and where they were found, yeah. Now, if we're being honest, and I'm gonna give it back to you. Now, let's say if they were found somewhere in a predominantly black neighborhood or something like that, that probably would have gotten them somewhere. And rest in peace to them. But what I'm saying is, if you would have taken these two kids and put their bodies in like Decatur or Albany somewhere, that might have been passable. You might have been able to get away with giving off this impression that this had more to do with gang rivalry or some family dispute or some shit. But the fact that the location of this is in an area that is known for being racist is another dead giveaway. And I yield the mic.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. It's just terrible, man. It's terrible. These towns is to definitely be reckoned with. But to go back to what you just said at that closing point with the bodies, how you move the bodies, and how you could have got over to the people of, wanting to know the details. If you would have moved those bodies and put them in an urban, urban community, it could have got off as gang violence. It's a possibility. Because let's face it, coming from the background, our background, what I'm saying, we kind of know, what I'm saying, certain areas you can go and certain areas to stay away from. And what I'm saying is that these two kids, they was just trying to travel, man. They wasn't looking at all of that. They wasn't looking at the background of the area, of the Georgia area or whatever, that, that came and cost them their life pretty much. Because if they had some type of background story of these spots, they would have been mindful to the time that they were spending at these places. Not to stay long. These towns are small, and the reason why they call it what they call it, the sundown towns, is because they all know what's going on and they all stick together. They know who did it. Let me tell you something about these sundowns. They know who did it. They all talk about it. They probably gossip about it right now. And they don't, they, like I say, they stick together. They all was in on it. Only thing they saw was this two black kids passing by, and that was a target. And like you said back in the day, it's 2025, and these people still have these same mindsets as it was in the early 1900s. That's a problem. That's a disease, is what they got. And we came so far. Like, look how long ago that was. These kids was only 19 years old. Do you think they was having any type of concerns about what happened back in the 1950s and 30s and 60s, going back that far? They had no idea about that. Because in their mind, technology is where it's at, and that's another thing. We're going to speak on technology. Technology came so far from back then to now. It's like golly. You mean to tell me that these two young kids, just like last week with the two twin brothers drowning in Mississippi, you mean to tell me that they can't get the same coverage, the same investigation and attention as Austin Metcalf? That's crazy work. That's all we saying. You can't get the same attention and investigation and the publicity and coverage as Austin Metcalf. Because all eyes still on Carmelo right now. All eyes still on that kid. It's not going nowhere. That's hat off the press. It's not moving. So what I'm saying is, do all lives really matter? That's the confusion part. Do all lives matter, or do it only matter when it benefit one side? That's my thing. Are we gonna keep it
You
right
know
or
what I
wrong?
want to point out too? You know what I
Go ahead, bro.
just wanted to point out the police office out there on their Facebook page. There's no updates. They're not even talking about the case at all. So I just wanted to throw that out there to further let you know how much they don't really give a shit about this. They're trying to erase it from the history book as much as possible. You would think they, of all people, would keep the public on point with every single thing that happens. They doing it with the Metcalf Anthony situation. I can tell you 1,000 because I've covered it a few times, and every time I turn on my YouTube, there's one specific guy who's covering it every day. He talks about it once to 2 times a day. So
this Austin
why
Metcalf
isn't the same
kid,
energy being given to them?
Right? This Austin Metcalf kid, you're right. It's not the same energy. This Austin Metcalf kid gets a total of maybe 10 to 15 videos posted about his incident per week, probably 5-6 in a day, about the incident that happened under that tent. And all even though that was a wrong too, that's why I brung up, do all lives matter? Because it's like they got shot, and they was found on the mountain. They was just trying to travel for a trip. You know, is that important? You just said they didn't go deep into it and try to look for clues and who was what. They didn't bring nobody in for questioning about what's going on. And then it's sad. You got to tell their mom. You got to tell their mom that she lost both of her boys, both of them, not just one like Metcalf. She lost both. And then on top of that, her losing both of her sons, you don't even know how they went. So how you think that mom feeling? At least Austin Metcalf's mom knew the situation. He had a brother that was there that could tell the situation. She don't have nothing on her boys. That's the difference. She don't know what to go off of. All she knows is that she raised them. She know how they move. She don't think that they would go out that way. So all she asking for is a little effort, some effort on that to find out justice for her boys. That's it. It's crazy. Same thing. We're not gonna leave out the Mississippi drowning. Same thing with those. They were excellent swimmers. Played on the football team just like Carmelo and Austin Metcalf. Can't even get the same coverage. Can't even get the proper investigation. Nobody's talking in the Mississippi area about them two drowning. You see what I'm saying? It's different. It's different, bro. But when you go back to the Metcalf, Austin Metcalf, though, what they're not telling you is that Austin had a twin brother. His name Hunter. Hunter Metcalf was actually the one that told Carmelo to leave that tent. Nobody ain't gonna say that. Hunter told Carmelo to leave that tent. It wasn't Austin. When he didn't leave, Austin is the one that went over to Carmelo for his brother. So when you go back to hear him talk, and he says that he held his brother in his arms, he really felt guilty. He felt like he kind of caused it a little bit because he the one told him to leave that tent. It started with them two. All Austin did was come in and try to help his brother. He had his brother back. That was his twin brother. That's what Austin, he was like, nah, that's my brother. You gonna leave. And then it went the way it went. But what I'm saying is that get more eyeballs on that outcome than twins getting shot, being left on the mountain, two twins drowning in the lake in Mississippi. Mississippi and Jordan. Compared to Frisco, Texas. So I'm just saying, all lives should matter because all of these kids is unalive. That's all. Austin is, the two twins, and the other two that was found on that mountain. So all lives should matter. I'm gonna say that. Everybody's life should matter. And it should be justice for all the tragedies that we talking about. That's all. That's all we're saying. Make it justice for all. That's it.
This is what I want to point out and pay close attention to what I'm about to say. If you don't take anything else from this, understand, based on how this all looks, how it was designed, they're basically saying this is what it looks like when one side cares versus the other side that cares. This is what it looks like when something happens to one of us versus this is what happens when something happens to you. Look at the difference between all of these cases. Who's more in an uproar? Who's at rage? Who's the one doing the most coverage? Who's the one that's tweeting and reposting and advertising and promoting and going on long rants and going the extra mile to harass and go after the Carmelo family? Who's the ones that's doing all of the extra needed things to make people listen to what they got to say? Who's doing the most? Who's making the biggest deal out of it? And this is just my opinion, but it comes off as if they're saying, well, shit, y'all don't give a fuck about y'all, so we can go ahead and just do this, get away with it, because y'all not going to put pressure on us, and you're not going to push this to where we are held responsible or accountable if we are guilty, because you don't give a shit about yourself. It's insulting. It's disrespectful. And you can say that it's just my theory and my opinion. But if you go back in time, rewind, how often have you ever seen Black people really give a shit about what happens to other Black people? Versus when white people.
Well, I will answer that. If you go back, because you was covering the history, you was going back in the day, and the history with this type of stuff. We marched, we protest, You know, we asked for, you know, we asked to be, you know, treated better, and so this stuff wouldn't spiral like that. But I think, like I said in 2 weeks ago in the videos before, is that it's harder for the other side to digest what we used to. So what I'm saying is, do we care? Yeah. We cared. We cared a lot. But when something keeps happening to you over and over again, and you keep saying, stop, stop, I can't breathe, and you know, well, you pretty much keep asking for peace and stuff like that, and you don't get it. I said it before. You become immune to the injustice, meaning you know you're not going to be getting heard. You're not getting heard. You see what I'm saying? We tell you, we get a little louder, we scream it to you, to stop. Everything we do is repeat, and then after a while, we feel like, damn, you don't hear us. So that's when all the destructions and stuff start happening. But if you flip it, like it's being magnified right now, when you flip it on the other side, I'm not used to this. This is the most terrible thing in the world. So what we saying is, it's terrible. It's the most terrible thing in the world to you right now, but it's been the most terrible thing in the world for us back then to now. So you can't. We're not gonna sit up here and say that we don't care. I think anybody would care about, you know, what's going on to them. I think that's common. I think anybody would care, but people are really upset because this situation with the Metcalf Carmelo, the stabbing, the outcome of it, like I'm gonna say it again, that outcome is harder to digest. To prove my point, look how we trying to find the details of what happened to those twins on that mountain that died from gunshot wounds, and the twins that drowned in the Mississippi River with no details. Do you see what I'm saying? But when you get the details of what Carmelo did to Austin, it's not received the same way because of the details and the investigation. So now you got something to go off of, and we can say, well, this kid did this. He's a murderer. What do we have? What do we got to go off of what we talking about? Give us the same thing. Why can't we get that? That's all I'm saying. You got it.
A lot of people not gonna like what I'm about to say, but it got to be said just because, you know what I'm saying.
What more do you want from me?
I'm not about to hold your hands. I disagree with you, and I'll tell you why. You can't say justice or say I can't breathe, buy a fucking shirt, and then 1 month later you back to shooting and killing everybody that's your skin complexion. You can't sit up here and talk about what happened with Trayvon, make memes, make video clippings and funny edits for a month, for 2 months, and then December 21st comes around, Christmas comes around, you out here robbing niggas, you sticking up your own fucking kind and all that shit. And then I'm not trying to hear that shit. I ain't. I'm sorry. You can sit up here and act like you want justice and you want things to be right, but you can't do that shit consistently for one day or 1 month or 1 week and expect change. That shit has to be consistent throughout your fucking life. That shit has to be generational. You got to do that shit now until the very end. You got to be on that. What you say? I'm on your helmet. I'm on your neck, nigga. You got to be on that shit every day.
So let me ask you a question then.
You got to be talking to lawyers. You got to.
Let me ask you a question. You can keep going, but let me ask you this question. Why do you think we do that? Why do you think that we, like you said, we stick up our own kind, we rob, we kill our own folks? Why is that? Because you know it had to start somewhere, and it wasn't always like that. So why is that the case now? Since you say because you saying you using that to say we don't care about each other. Why is that? Why do we do that? Answer that.
Well, let me finish what I was getting at. I'll answer your question. The truth of the matter is, all of this shit is programming. All of it, from the gangster movies to the music, all that shit is programming. It's programming to make you hate yourself. It's programming to make you hate the other person. It's programming to make you lazy. It's programming to make you not want to be proactive. It's programming to make you view life and view the world in one specific perspective. All of it is programming. But really, a lot of us are lazy. If you want to hear the answer, a lot of black people are fucking lazy. Lazy. You will work because you got to pay bills and you got to make sure there's a roof over your head. Yeah, you're going to do that shit. But when it comes to standing up for what is right, it's conditional. That shit only is important to you when it hits close to home. It's only important to you when it involves another race. It's only important to you when it directly affects you. But when it's time to move and be proactive, you good for a little bit, but give it a couple weeks, give it a couple months. You done. Oh, nothing's happening right away. Nothing is changing. Nothing is going the way that I wanted to right then and there. So I'm just going to give up and I'm going to go right back to doing the shit that I was doing before, ultimately contributing to the same problems that we complain about anyway. So it's like, why the hell are you even saying anything in the first place if you're still going to be a part of the problem? You can't just dip your toe in the pool and consider that shit swimming. You got to be in the shit. If you're going to be in it, be in the shit. No, not one day. We're not about to just do this shit for one day. You really got a problem with the racism, a problem with the government, a problem with the system, a problem with how we're getting treated with our health care, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Stop being fucking lazy. Remain consistent. Get more people to be accountable. And let's move forward. But to start something but never see it all the way through, how can you really blame them for looking at us like that? Does that answer your question?
Somewhat. The laziness. Let's start with the lazy piece. Are we lazy? I think a lot of people are lazy. Lazy is a mindset. I'm not gonna stereotype a motherfucker just because they lazy. Lazy is anybody can be lazy, but what happens when you overcome that and you work hard and you try to get the things that you just do. Because let's put it on the table. Let's cut all the games, all the bullshit. At one point, this shit was even Steven. We're not gonna play no more. This shit was even Steven, and somebody felt like, they needed a little more than what the other person had. That's called jealousy. They felt like, stuff should benefit this way more than that way. And ever since then, people been climbing uphill. It's called the eternal struggle. So, I think that shit would create laziness, if you ask me. If you having a harder time than what you should have, because remember I said even Steven, then I don't think it would have never been no laziness with people. People do that out of frustration because of the like you said, the system, award that to the system, how the system was planted to only benefit one over the other. And that's how it was set up. Now, in that time span, yeah, you got people that break the mold. So we ain't gonna keep it on lazy. It's people that broke the mold and got over those hurdles. But my argument to you, sir, is why the hell it had to be a hurdle anyway? Why? That's my issue. You got people that overcame. You got people that worked a little harder and got a little more than somebody that you said that's lazy. They won't do shit. You got people that did that. But my thing is, why the hell did they have to work that extra hard like that for? Why? Why was it so difficult for them? That's the issue, my dude. You see what I'm saying? Because it shouldn't have been harder. It shouldn't have been all those hurdles. It shouldn't have been a struggle. You see what I'm saying? That stuff was in place. So if you really want to go back to the beginning of this shit, that's the way it started at, for real. So yeah, it was even Steven. Everybody supposed to benefited. Everybody should have benefited. But somewhere down the line, like I said, somebody didn't want somebody to benefit. We know how it play out. And then next thing you know, we where we at today. So if you wanna know why people go outside and put a gun to their own people's head and say give it up, go back to what I just said. It wasn't equal opportunities, and those barriers and all of that put in place should have never been there from the damn jump, and you know it. If everything was opportunity was given, the way it should have been, you will have less of this going around. Because let's put it on the table. If you take out one of your people, they really don't give a fuck. It's called divide and conquer. Divide and conquer, baby. If we can cause a division, then we ain't got to worry about you no more. You out the way. If you dividing, you can't be unified. If you unified, then what? It's called strength in numbers. And if you got strength in numbers, then you got a his. You see what I'm saying? So we ain't gonna do all of that. If people stick to that point right there, you're gonna see a lot of change. But until then, you're gonna have massacres like what we dealing with. So I'm gonna say it again. All lives should matter at the end of the day.
I'm gonna have to give you some pushback, right? Because if we going off of history, you might as well take it back to the biblical days. Oppression has always been a part of this walk. Do you honestly think that we were going to have it smooth one way or another, whether it was through racism or any other form of pushback from outside forces? This was always going to be a part of the plans. As soon as we had the Adam and Eve thing, it was already a wrap. We were going to be up against a heel anyway, regardless, man and woman. Didn't matter what color you are, red, white, blue, or any of that. You were going to have challenges. You were going to have obstacles. That doesn't give you the, and I see the angle that you were trying to take. Your position is they were envious and jealous of us because of the athleticism, because of the height, because of our skin complexion, because of our swag, all of that shit. They saw the potential. They saw that we could do things that were probably, if not equal, but a little bit better than what they do. We have spice. Because of that, they decided that they were going to band together and fuck us over and pin us against each other. I believe that's the angle that you're taking. And
no,
even,
but it's no
if
different
that's
in
the angle
families. I'm just saying it's no different in families.
But hold up.
Some families feel like they deserve more than you.
Hold up.
And they take that angle with you.
Hold on. Let me get my balls off. I'll let you get yours off.
Go ahead. Continue.
What I'm saying is whether or not you had envious people or jealous people after your money, after your life, after your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, your career, your athleticism, your height, whether or not that's true or false, it doesn't take away the fact that as an individual, you still have to hold yourself accountable. You can't put all your blame on them doing what they're doing. That's just inevitable. What are you doing? It's easy to point the finger at them. Hell, I don't want to do 9 to 5 shit every single day. I want to work for myself. I want to uplift people. I want to travel the world. I want to do this. I want to do that. But people hate me. People want to see me gone. People want to destroy my career before it starts. People want to take money out of my pockets. People hate me because of my color. Hate me because I'm this height. Hate me because of this. All right, so fucking what? So what? So what? I still want what I want, regardless of how anybody else feels about it. And if God wants me to have it, I'm going to have it regardless if you want me to have it or not. The information, the knowledge, the clarity, the covering, the anointing, everything that God said is for one person is for the next person. So whether or not they do all of the things that they do to try to stop you from getting what you want, if God is with you, it ain't really too much they can really do to you for real, for real. You still have to go out here and work. You still got to clock in. You still got to exercise. You still got to read. You still got to learn what you need to learn to be able to counteract all of the fuckery that comes your way. If you don't take the initiative to learn about these laws, if you don't take the initiative to learn about different demographics, different cultures, you don't expand your thinking, then who are you to say, oh shit, well, because they're doing this to me, I guess I might as well do it to me too. That shit sounds retarded. Absolutely ridiculous. It's a whole mind fuck. It's to make you think that you powerless. It's to make you think, oh well shit, they got all the control. Well shit. Why do they have the control? They have the control because you allow them to have the control, because you don't want to go to school. You want to praise and idolize the wrong shit. You don't want to take the information that is out here. It's available to all of us, brother. The library is everywhere, bro. It's on every corner. It's in everybody's neighborhood. Everybody has a library. Everybody has a school. Everybody has the same information readily available if they want to go towards that. But you're getting lured into things that's keeping you away from progressing. But we keep blaming the oppression and racism and this. Well, shit. Okay, well, if that's the victimhood that you want to play, we can do that. And I'm not going to sit here and say they don't have a play or a role in why things are the way they are, but shit, just as much as they know the rules and the laws and the policies, and they know how to go downtown and complain and write and do all that, we can do the same shit. We can do all of the same things that they're doing, but we don't want to do it. It's almost like you're saying, well, just take the easy way out. Because this is happening, this is why we do what we do. So we should just go ahead and give it a pass. No, I'm not doing that. You got
that's not,
if you want, if you got anything you want to say, but
yeah, I do. That's not what I'm saying, by the way. What I'm trying to let you know is that some of us have took that route that you just described, and they took the information into to benefit them, right? And like I said, worked hard, you know what I'm saying, and made it to a certain level and all of that. What I'm saying is that it should be more. It should be more. We should have more. But the issue of us not having more, sir, is that barrier that shouldn't be there. You see what I'm saying? That barrier is keeping us, you know what I'm saying? Like you can get to a certain level, but you can't get to what you're supposed to be, if you understand that. You see what I'm saying? So even though you work hard,
yeah, I don't think
you work hard and all of that, you're not going to be, you see what I'm saying? You're not going to be what you shouldn't, you're not going to get what you should get. You see what I'm saying? But you have to understand all of that. It's just how it is, bro.
still sound like you making an excuse. So I clearly laid it all out there. I clearly laid it all there. Look, as far as I'm concerned, there is no barrier. The only barrier that's there is the barrier that you allow to be there. If you wanted to go back to school and be a fucking lawyer right now, you could do that shit. So I'm not trying none of that. If you wanted to break free of your addictions, if you wanted to go back to school to be a lawyer, you wanted to be a judge, you wanted to get off the pole, if you wanted to be a better mother, a better woman, a better man in general, there are channels for all of it. There's nothing held back from a single human being. What are you talking about barriers? There are no barriers.
But you treat it differently, sir. It goes back to what we talking about today. You see what I'm saying? You can be all of that. You can be whatever you want to be. I never said that. But it still goes back to what we talking about today, about the coverage and the effort and the views, or how you viewed and all of that with these cases we talking about. It's not going to be looked at the same. You see what I'm saying? You can be whatever you want to be, but at the end of the day, feel me? It's people that fought in a war. There's people that went to the military. I know you got family. I had family. You know, it's people that went into the military, fought in all those classic wars for the whole country, right? Came back from fighting in the war, and see what they got to go through. See, that's track records. All of that is facts. That's a track record. So yeah, again, just like these cases, you know what I'm saying, that we talking about, you can see the difference. But I do see your vision of it do not hurt you to strive to be the best you can be. It don't. As an individual, that's what you're supposed to do. But it starts with you.
This all goes back to me saying the reason why this case is going the way it's going is because we don't have the same urgency or the same concern about what this represents. It's almost like you watch a movie, it was good while it lasted, and then you just move on to the next thing. That's what it comes off like. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that we need to put a little more compassion and respect on our culture, or I mean, just human race in general. The lack of concern or the lack of sympathy or need to want to see justice is so daunting to me. And I don't want people to think, oh, they making all of these laws and all of these rules to keep us from being heard or being seen, or they're doing this and they work in the police force and they got everybody paid off and their community is this. Well, shit. What's the common denominator? What's the common denominator in any of this? One side went and did the things necessary to get what they accomplished. The other side only limited themselves to it. You're not going to get what you want overnight, just like Jenny just said.
Somebody said
everybody
in the
ain't going to just
Black
come
Panther.
up.
Yeah, she said in the comments, Black Panther, and that was unity. You're not going to get a damn thing if you're not unified. It's not going to happen. You all got to be on one accord. Like I said before, it's strength in numbers. You know what I'm saying? If you got enough backing to switch to turning around, then you're gonna see something different. You'll see something different, but you got it, like you said a little earlier. You got to be consistent though. It comes with the consistency to see that. But you still gonna need some backing. Like look what happened to look what's going on with the Carmelo Anthony thing. You see what I'm saying? That's new. That's new to see somebody do that, and then he's not still behind bars. He got out. The bond got lowered. You know what I'm saying? They raised money, stuff like that. Like that stuff wouldn't happen in those 60s or the 50s or nothing like that. That's new. So I'm just saying we got, everybody got to stick together, man. Not culture, not so much of culture wise, but worldly. That's what I'm saying. That's the goal. Worldly. Everybody need to kind of, feel where the other one's going through or coming from, and with all of these cases that we've been covering today, it's a big grieving. It's like a huge grieving process for all these families, man. It's just been a tragedy all over. So yeah, you know, when something happens, you do supposed to, you know, seek justice. I get that part about getting that justice and all of that, but we all got to be one. And once we get to that point, you know what I'm saying? Once we all get on the same page at that point, then I can feel the unity. You spoke on excuses. The excuses will go ahead and die down, and you know, the success rate will go up a little bit, and most importantly, the love. The love. There's a lot of people committing these crimes. They ain't got no love, bro. There ain't enough love in the world because of the jealousy, the envy, the hate. You got to kill all that, man. We got to all come together and be there for one another to create that love that everybody really need to make it. You know, people die out here from a lack of love, bro. People in their life out here for that. So everybody need to be cared for and cared about. And that take me back to these Jones. So we need to look at, I'm just saying we need to look at all of them. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
My final thoughts. First, I want to say thank you, Jenny, and everybody who stuck around and watched, because I know it can be a sensitive subject. It's not really my angle is not really to attack anybody in specific. I just want to call it for what it really is. And the truth of the matter is, so much can be accomplished and so much can be done if we stop playing the victim and doing this blame game shit. Yeah, there are people who have benefits, or they have positions that weren't earned, and there are people who are put in place over others that give them a head start. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. What I am saying is, if you really care about what's happening with this particular story, more people would be talking about it. They would repost, they would share it, they would click the like button, they would talk about it on their own accord, have conversations within your friend group, have conversations at the job, open up your own dialogue about it. You don't even have to do anything with it here, but the point is, you're making an effort. And the whole story is fishy. I don't buy any of it. There's not a single ounce of evidence here to substantiate any claims that what they have presented is sufficient enough for me to just go on and sleep well at night, because I just can't eat that. Do what they do. Go ahead, make a large deal out of it. Go on all social media platforms and make your voice heard. You're not happy with this. You're not gonna. Don't do it for a day. Don't do it for a week. Don't do it for a month and then turn around and then you go right back to the same stuff. At some point, you're gonna stop you can't just keep blaming the system for why you want to do the dirt that you do. That shit is not going to work or cut it. It's just a suggestion, Jenny. You don't have to go to a group chat. You can talk to a friend and start a conversation. You can talk to somebody at McDonald's or at 7-Eleven. Shit. Go talk to Akbar Mahak. The point is, have the conversations. Otherwise, what are we doing here? What's the point of any of this? What's the point of the whole hour, 30 minutes? Or what's the point of even covering it at all? So, yeah, those are my final thoughts. Talk to the Pokemon. Thank you. Exactly. Talk to the Pokemon.
It's all part of the plan.
Well,
If you
all
got
I'ma
anything
add,
you want to say before we get up out of here, man, go ahead. You got it.
I am. All I'm gonna add is, man, I just wanna say we need to all be a little more consistent with prayer. I pray that all those families get justice for their lost ones, man, their loved ones, man, because you know families are devastated, both sides, and I just hope that those cases kind of pick up a little more immediate. I'm gonna say immediate attention, and we kind of get to the bottom of all issues that come up. I'm gonna say future cases that come up like that, because don't nobody deserve to to lose their life the way you lose your life like that. So. I mean, I just hope for some mending and we get some closure. That's what I'm gonna say. Hope for some closure, and I hope that I hope that all of this stuff that we talk about, spark something and open some people's eyes on how they and their views on how they look at stuff in the world today. So hopefully that can change, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got on it, man. This was a good one as well, and we're gonna cover something later on down the line. That's what I got. Y'all have a good one.
Right on. Yeah, we about to get up out of here. I will see you guys later on this evening, though. I told y'all yesterday I had something cooking up. And yeah, I'm gonna get in y'all shit later too. So that shit is trifling. That shit is trifling, man. We're gonna talk about it though. Y'all be easy. If you're not following, tap in, like, share, subscribe to the channel if you want. It's optional, it's not conditional. Outside of that, I'm back in the lab. I'll see you guys later on. Some of you, if not, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Co-star. Lab rats.
Mantra. Slave song. Slave ship. Rip skin made me rip bones. But no matter how close my ancestors speak, they tell me they're tired of them praying on us like we're weak. I haven't been getting sleep. Longing to sing until I've surpassed peak. Until they think we are